Today in Tidbits, I'm going to talk a little bit about our contract. The contract, at the top, we call it the header. And what information do we find on the header of the contract? Obviously, the customer's name and address. But the address has two slots. One is the mailing address and one is the site address. Obviously, both very important for different reasons. But we have to have both of them only because when it comes time to send mail or information to the customer, we really can't send it to a site address because there may not be a mailbox there. Heck, there might not be a home or a cabin, there might not be anything there. And on the other side, the mailing address, if that's all we had, things would get screwed up and then the crews would be traveling to the wrong address and find out that, what are we doing here? There's already a garage. So the mailing address and site address are both in the header of the contract. The other piece that's on there is property owners. Why this is so very important is because in certain situations there might be a contract for deed on the home. Under a contract for deed scenario, the land is not technically owned by the people living there. They are paying another party, more or less paying them off, at some point will own the land, but they don't own the land while they're making those payments. So we have to know that type of information. And the other area that falls into it fairly often is tribal land. So in the scenario of tribal land, they live there. It might be a payoff scenario, it may not be. But we have to know that so we know whose actual land it is before we proceed. Other information that we have on there is an email address. Obviously, this day and age, email is very key in communications. We can send scans of documents. We can send information that way, so it is very nice to have. And then we have a primary phone and a secondary phone. And in this day and age, sure, you may have a phone hanging on the wall at home. And that might be your primary, but in most cases, it's going to be a cell phone. In a secondary, maybe that one hanging on the wall, or it may be that the spouse has another cell phone. So it gives us options to get a hold of people in case there's questions. That is a necessity. If there's a question and the crew's on a site, and let's say, for instance, we're supposed to be there, but somebody parked a car right in front, we may have to get hold of somebody in a very short time. And the last piece that's really on the header is the county that the building is in. And the reason why we ask that is it could be code issues, where we have to look at certain counties for the code issues. The main reason to have that known is for permitting. We have to know what permit is required in that particular county, and those are some of the items in the header of the contract and the reasons why we need to know that. So in future ones, I will be talking about different sections of the contract. If you have any questions, feel free to call one of our salespeople, ask them questions as you go through it so you are comfortable on what you are signing and what building you are getting.